Welcome back to the video series that goes along with my 6-week Math Prep Workbook. I'm Mandy Balster, and this is week 6, the final week in our 6-week series for the workbook that I developed for students to use as they're getting ready for the math section of the ACT. Weeks 1 through 5 of the videos and the workbook are out there and available. If you're working through the workbook in preparation for an ACT, then with our recommended start of 6 weeks from the test date, you're coming up on test week. If you haven't watched weeks 1 through 5, go back and do that now. And if you need a workbook, see the description or I'll tell you where to get one at the end of this video. For our warm-up this week, I want to remind you of the formula sheet we have in the appendix of the workbook. This is a sheet of the most often needed math formulas on the ACT. Using this sheet, hopefully you've gotten familiar with these formulas and you're ready to use them in questions. We also encourage you to add any other formulas that you come upon in preparation that seem to give you any problems and that you think you need to spend some time on to memorize. If you need a copy of the formula sheet, I'll put a link to it in the description as well. Hopefully you're watching this video early in the week of your ACT. That still gives you time to take one more full-length practice test. Remember, we want a test-like environment so you can answer all 60 questions in one sitting. You have 60 minutes, and wisely make use of your calculator, the one you will take and use on the real test, just like we discussed last week. And give your best answers. Even if some are guesses, make smart guesses where needed, and note any topics that are still giving you a problem, and do a little review of them this week. Talking about reviewing a few math topics, let's talk a little about some skills that it's really important that you know for the ACT. We see these topics quite often in questions. First, we have the mean or the average. Questions can be as straightforward as adding up the given values and dividing by the number of data values. That's the definition of mean. But we can also see some questions like these. To increase the mean of 6 numbers by 3, by how much would the sum of the 6 numbers have to increase? Or something like this. The mean of the set of 4 numbers, 27, 8, 21, and x, is 21, and the median of the set of 5 numbers, 34, 16, 28, 11, and y, is 22. If it can be determined, which of the following values is equal to x plus y? Both of these questions you'll find in your workbook, along with the solution in the book. To solve them, make use of that definition of mean and fit the numbers in where they correspond with the definition. The second question here calls out the median, which is the middle value in the data set when the data values are ordered either least to greatest or greatest to least, your preference. This question is also a multi-step question, with after finding these missing values of x and y in the data sets, you add them together. Work this piece by piece and keep track of what the ultimate question is. Next, we have area and perimeter. Remember, perimeter is around a figure, and a lot of time we use fencing, like in this question here, or edging, or maybe even sidewalks when we need to calculate perimeter. For a rectangle, perimeter is twice the length plus twice the width. Area is when we're talking about what fills up a 2D space. Carpet is a good example. For a rectangle, area is length times width. Since both perimeter and area are found using length and width, we can also go from area to perimeter, and vice versa, when we're given enough data. And that's like what you see in this second question. Again, both of these questions are in the workbook, and you can check your answers there too. Our last often seen topic today is negative numbers. You'll see a lot of applications with this, even when it's not the main topic you're being tested on, but the proper use is still important in getting the correct answer. A lot of times, you'll have to plug in negative values and then work with raising them to odd and even powers, having a negative sign out in front, taking an absolute value, things like that. Pay attention to the answer choices because they seem to love to put in that incorrect answer choice of you using that negative in the wrong way. Know the rules and usage of negative numbers, and you'll do well with these. That's it, and it's time to start on the last week of daily activities. This week, I'll have a midweek check-in video for a final pep talk before the test. You're doing great, and I hope you're feeling so much better about the math section since you've been working through the practices. Keep it up and leave us any questions in the comments. We'll talk again in a few days. To get your own copy of the 6-week Math Prep Workbook, visit my website, teachmathwithme.com. Click on the link for the 6-week Math Prep Workbook. You can grab a free sample to try it out. Scroll down and click on the button, Download Free Sample. Give me your email address and I'll send it on over to you. If you're ready to go ahead and get a paperback version, you can get the workbook from Amazon in a traditional workbook form with a glossy cover. It will be mailed to you by Amazon. You can also get a Kindle version from Amazon, but you won't be able to print this one out. To download and print your own copy of the workbook, back on my website, go to the Resources tab, and that will take you to my Teachers Pay Teacher store. With this version, you can print a copy out on a personal printer or send it to a print shop. I like to specify spiral bound for my local printer. Get this version here. You can find all these links, a free sample, and more info at my website, teachmathwithme.com. Look for all the links you need in the description as well.